good evening. Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope this class finds everybody amazing. Of the pre-incubation ideation session of the Agribusiness Incubator. Today, get your passports ready because we are going all the way to Belize. And we are focusing on your business model C canvases, but on the value proposition section and the business of your businesses. And guess what? Just 4 more classes to go. We've already received a lot of Model C canvases for our review. We're in the process of reviewing now to send them back to you so that you could have them turned in for the last week of class. Okay, so for this class, some of the key questions surrounding this will be: what is the product or service delivered to your customers? What is the value generated for each customer through this product or service? And what does the customer see as value? And which of his or her needs do we need to meet? My name is Kentisha Ward. I am the National Lead Consultant. Today we have backstage Miss Precious Fortune Thompson, who is our National Marketing Consultant down here in the Bahamas, along with our International Incubator Consultant, Mr. Salomo. And presenting tonight, we have Carlos Itza, all the way from Belize, and our Belize team, Mr. Silverio Marin and Sergio Gomez. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you guys once again that this training session is hosted by the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, Ministry of Agriculture right here in the Bahamas, as a TCP to provide technical assistance for inclusive, sustainable, and resilient food in the rural and peri-urban territories of the Bahamas as a response to the COVID-19 pandemic, but also to enhance the opportunities for farmers, processors, and agriculturalists, helping them improve their technical, business, production, and planning skills on the beautiful islands of Abaco and Grand Bahama. These pre-incubation classes are held every Monday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on YouTube. We ask that you go all the way to the bottom and click the red button that says subscribe so that you can always get notifications when we are having a next class. And just in case you have any classes that you may have missed, you can come back to the same YouTube feed to be able to catch those classes, or you can go to your Google Classroom to be able to catch those missed classes along with other material that you will need to fill your Model C canvas. Your Model C canvas will be due at the end of this incubation program to continue on to the next phase, which is the incubation process. We've had a lot of activity so far, and I encourage you all to send in your Model C canvas and reviews that you may need. This completed canvas will be due on February 28th, 2022. You can email your canvases at agribahamasincubator@gmail.com for review. Also, if you haven't had the opportunity to join the Telegram group as yet, where we ask all of our excited to interact with each other, the link will also be posted in the chat. But that's all for me. Let's break the ice a little bit with Precious. Welcome, Precious.
Good evening, everyone. Of course, I'm back with another exciting icebreaker. And of course, I want you to post your comments in the chat. And so tonight's icebreaker is: what is the largest, based on width and depth, blue hole? What's the name of it and where is it located? So tonight's icebreaker, of course, is: what is the largest blue hole by width and depth? I want to see your comments in the chat. So I'm curious to see what you guys are going to say is the largest or the biggest blue hole. So I see Fenwick is saying he does not know. Fate is saying, is it Dean's Long Island? Maybe. Let's see. Maybe the largest blue hole is in the Bahamas. What? Maybe. Who knows? I believe it's Dean's Long Island. So guess what, guys? So the second largest blue hole in all the world is actually Dane's Blue Hole in Long Island. But the biggest blue hole, if you're going by depth, width, and length, is located in Belize, and it is the Great Blue Hole. I think that's what it's called, the Great Blue Hole. So look at that. Belize has the largest blue hole by width and depth, and the Bahamas just generally has the second largest blue hole in the world. So that's a nice little exciting fact for us to learn. So we are up there. We are really up there. So thank you all for your participation. Like Kentisha said, tonight our train is all the way from Belize, Carlos, and tonight is going to be exciting, and all of the content will be in the Google Classroom. If you have any questions, feel free to post your questions in the chat or in Telegram or send us an email. So I am going to bring Carlos up on stage to join me. Good night, Carlos. Take it away.
Hello, good night, everybody, and a greeting from Belize. I wanted to share my screen. Okay, well, tonight I want to be able to share with you what is organizational capacity, and it's one of the elements that you have to develop um, within your canvas. So I believe it's important, no, for us to know what is organizational capacity. So I hope I will be able to um, indicate to you more clearly, and for it to be more clear for you when you are filling out that portion of the canvas. Now, what is organizational capacity? Entering into the topic, no, it's important to understand that organizational capacity, if you are managing a business or you have an organization or work for an organization or whatever you are doing, there is an item known as organizational capacity, and that capacity permits you to be able to determine how you're going to do an activity, what type of persons you uh, have within your organization, the type of material, the resources that you're consuming, and the clients, the products that you are either going to need, or also the service that you're offering to your client. No, it is important that there are aspects of that organizational capacity that you need to have into consideration. For example, the first one is that many of you have seen that organizations sometimes develop what is known as visions and missions, objectives, and the reality is that it is done with a purpose for them to know where they are going. I usually make this comment, no, that anybody, as a person or as an organization, that doesn't know where they are heading, and they want to go anywhere. I mean, to them, it's moving from here to anywhere is good enough if they don't know where they're heading, no? So it is important to have a clear vision of where the organization is going to. And when we say vision, and in simpler terms, it means like I'm going to start with the year zero, and then I want to know where I want to be here from 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or many years down the road. And I can be able to see where the organization is supposed to head, no? Um, Many of us sometimes see very successful businesses, and I believe that many of them have to plan properly for them to become successful. It's not by chance. So it is important for your organization to know where it's heading. And many times you cannot jump from year zero to year five. We already know that you have to go, or the things that you do it in a small step. And those is what we call objectives, no? And it has to be set up in a way that they are achieved step by step until you reach your wider vision. Also, it is important that the organization has um, a, uh, a certain mechanism to be able to determine that if you're going to be bringing personnel within the organization, they have to have a very clear vision of their what they are supposed to be doing, no? So that those are what we call the roles and responsibilities of the persons that are going to be um, um, entering the organization. When a person is hired in a business and the person doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing, what he's supposed to be um, um, acting on or delivering for you, it becomes difficult because that person doesn't know. I mean, as I said many times, in small business, we hire our own family, we hire people that we know. And the expectation is sometimes that you bring those persons, and maybe you are happy to bring people that you know and want to help, but the expectation is that you have a business running, and that business, if you waste time, it loses money on an hourly basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, no? So many organization or small business have to develop some level of role and responsibility. And how we do that, sometimes we tell them, this is the task I want to do, or this is the term of reference, or this is the job description that I am going to have for that person, no? As small as you would think that many times people know, in the majority, if you bring somebody in your organization, you cannot assume, you cannot make assumptions. They know what you are doing, no? And many times also, those people uh, have to be taught a certain process, and therefore I believe you have a method already of doing things. You have a method that you want the product to have a good quality, or whatever activity you are doing, there is a certain item that guides you. How do you want those things, especially if you have a business where people get know you by your product, no? You want to be consistent of what you're presenting to your to your clients. Additionally, also, um, in an organization, you have people that come with many different skills. It's going to be within your interest to find out what are some of those person's skills, so that you are able to use it within the organization. And we are going to see in detail what those that mean, no? Also, um, you have to be able to implement activities efficiently and effective. Um, for you to become very effective is that you have to be obtaining results. No, you when you hire people, you want them to be producing products at the shortest period, but with the quality that you want. That means that there is certain level of efficiency in producing those products. You also want that the products that are produced, they are bought without any difficulty. Many times here in Belize, we see sometimes that people um, want to start a business. They start a business and they have a very good product, but because of X reasons, they are starting to sell a lot, and then suddenly they realize, I'm going to relax in this way or another, and sometimes those products start to come not with the same quality, and people notice, the clients notice, so they suffer that people stop buying them, or something changes, no, and the client is very, very sensitive to many of those changes. Now, if you do product improvement, of course they are going to notice it, and that in itself is going to bring more people interested in buying. Additionally, um, you want to have persons within your organization that are very good with what they do. Like, I have seen many people that produce coconut oil, but if you put a person to dehusk the coconut, you realize that some people are more faster, and therefore this is the type of person that you are trying to look, no, especially if you are in the business of selling whatever the coconut in a shell, or if you're going to produce oil, or going to produce coconut milk, or any other product. But then there is a fourth step, no, where you're looking for people that are very skilled at those, is what we call high performance people, that that instead of just dehusking 20, they can dehusk 100. I mean, that makes more business sense for you. And lastly, the organizational capacity also relates to the capacity of change. We saw during the previous year, we saw that many organizations that basically had a normal flow, and they did not prepare for any COVID, but nobody could have prepared or anticipated COVID. Um, you saw that many people that did not adapt to the new COVID protocols, many closed down, many did not even sell many of their products. But I also know of businesses that themselves, they change something to make the product still available to clients, because people are still eating and consuming. The people that were in business of selling a product that was consumed by the population was still being used, um, and therefore it's just the mechanism of transporting, or the mechanism of making the product reach the client was affected, no. And so, but many other businesses that made that availability of their product even sold more products. And we know many examples of those businesses, no. So in the model, in your in part of this training, you're going to see that the Model C canvas has some elements that includes that they want you to be describing the organizational capacity, which is relating to what is your ability of your organization to produce, at what amount, and also um, the resources that you count with, and also um, estimates of whatever it might be costing you, know. But you want to be able to create a clear picture. What is your organization ability to produce what you say you are producing, no? And also it touches elements of how does your staffing or your team look like? If you have developed partnerships with organizations, what are some of the key activities and also resources? I want to mention to you that organizational capacity, even though it only touches on this element that you are supposed to understand within the canvas, it is related almost to almost the entire aspect of the organization, no? Because if you can receive assistance, but if you don't have capacity to expand more than what you are anticipating, your level of production is going to stay the same for many years, no? Even the amount of investment that you can get, you will see that the changes might happen in other areas, but not necessarily elements of more production or elements of improvement in general, no? But I'm saying this because the organizational capacity does provide you the ability to currently produce what you're producing, but also that level of expansion, no? Um, I wanted to play the video of what is organizational capacity before I pass in expanding some elements of what the video is going to be highlighting, no? There's a video of what that says what is organizational capacity.
What a company does, its capabilities rather than what it has or sells. Only when you identify what you are great at and how this greatness matches with market needs do you have a value-creating strategy. Let's discuss what we actually mean by a capability. A capability is a combination of processes, tools and systems, knowledge, skills and behaviors, and organization that allows a company to deliver a specified outcome. This means capabilities are messy, complicated combinations of many factors. Companies may have hundreds of capabilities, such as the capability to invoice customers, the capability to procure office stationery, the capability to pay employees, and so on. But there are only a handful of capabilities that are truly essential for their business success, and at which they need to be better than anyone else. This is what we call the differentiating capabilities. For these differentiating capabilities to develop their full potential, they need to work together in a system. However, for now we'll focus on what an individual capability looks like in practice when successful. Let's take a look at the famous chips and snack brand Frito-Lay and its direct store delivery capability. Direct store delivery is a method of delivering products from a supplier directly to a retail store without going through a retailer's distribution center. DSD is not considered a highly differentiated capability today for everyone. Many consumer packaged goods companies use it. But Frito-Lay has managed to maintain a clear advantage in getting the right product to the right place at the right time. How do they do this? The processes that give it this capability include the structuring of drivers' jobs, how many and what stores they go to strike a balance between driving time, in-store time, and truck utilization. But what really distinguishes Frito-Lay's DSD processes is their high degree of standardization and end-to-end integration with zero tolerance for any features that may compromise frontline focus or executional excellence. Every salesperson knows exactly what is required of them and what process they are required to follow on every visit. It's this execution framework that turns Frito-Lay's DSD force into a well-oiled machine. Tools and systems adds to this capability. Frito-Lay are said to have invented the handheld computer to enable its DSD capability. Each salesperson is equipped with a device that has become an indispensable tool and information source. It walks the salesperson through his or her pitch in real time, suggests a highly accurate order based on previous orders and actual store inventory levels, and updates the salesperson's performance versus quota before and after each call. The handheld computer also supports micro-marketing and helps the salesperson develop tailored solutions for individual stores. Meanwhile, Frito-Lay's knowledge, skills, and behaviors that support this capability include the way drivers are able to build relations with store owners, identify and secure incremental shelf space in key areas of the store, and build promotional displays. In addition, frontline regional managers behave like owners and feel empowered to make local decisions to win the competitive battle on a store-by-store level. Then there's the organisation of Frito-Lay. It combines sales, driving, delivering and merchandising into drivers' jobs. It operates their fleet of 15,000 trucks that visit 400,000 customers across the US. The organisation has few layers and highly decentralised decision rights in order to maximise effective responsiveness to competitive and customer dynamics at a regional and local level. Also, the incentive plan of the DSD force is closely linked with the sales of products at the stores. In summary, this specific direct store delivery capability helps make Frito-Lay one of the best performing globally distributed snack food companies in the world. So you can see why this capability matters. And to repeat the key message, a capability is a combination of processes, tools and systems, knowledge, skills and behaviours, and organisation that allows a company to deliver a specified outcome.
So many of you might have seen yourself in what you saw from the video, no? We call it organizational capacity, but it also is relating to that capability that was described in the video. Now, very important is that there are aspects that the video does not highlight, but I am going to highlight it, no? For example, we all know that if you have an organization and even if you are what we call in Belize one-man band, no? You are the one doing everything for the organization, there is still some level of ability to be able to say, well, these are some of the items that I need to establish where you lead your own self, okay? But now let's say that you have to integrate more people into your business. Now, therefore, you become the leader and the others are there to provide you the support, no? Now, very important, you yourself will try to establish a team when you are going to be able to support your business. And building a team, it requires a lot of work. I am sure many of you have worked with other people, no? And sometimes you say the most complicated part of my work has to do with dealing with people. Everybody might have the same sentiment, no? Especially when it becomes a very big organization that we have to manage a lot of people. And that's why many people hire their human resource person, no? But in this case, you always see that there is the intention that you have to manage a team. And managing a team depends a lot on the ability of leadership. There are people that are born with natural leadership capability, but there are others in general where people have to learn what should I do as a leader. The most important aspect for you as a leader is that you have to have vision. You have to know where you're going. You have to know what it should be done on a daily, up to the plan that you have for 5 or 10 years. You need to know where to place each of your persons based on their strength that they have, based on their ability to become more aware of this is what I need to know, no? Operating in the area of agriculture, we know that there's a lot of work to be done in a small enterprise. If you are agro-processing, there is a lot of washing of the bottles. There is a lot of packaging the product, peeling the product, and all that has to be coordinated. Now, we cannot say things are going to fall into place. A leader needs to know what needs to be done, and he organizes it. So organizing things is important as part of you as a leader. Sometimes when we want to integrate other people and we say, well, that person doesn't know what he's doing. Of course, you have to be the one to guide it. Now you have become the leader. Or you say, well, something is missing here. you have to be the one to fix it. No, you have to be the one to guide it how it's supposed to be done. In many small business in Belize, sometimes we know that people and family are the ones that usually do all the work. Bringing other people sometimes creates a different type of management, because then you realize you're working with family members, and then you're working also with other people that don't have the same expectation. They don't have the same drive or passion for your business to be successful. But you as a leader have to be able to bring all those elements together. No, I am sure that is why many family oriented business become successful. Apart from the elements that are put together, I also believe that it has to do with leadership of the person that is at the front of that business. So let us see a little video for us to understand the concept of why we need to work together. No, and it's this video brings a little bit of that element. No.
It's smarter to travel in groups.
Okay, so you saw, and I want to touch on one of the elements in the video, and that element has to do with the fact that many businesses sometimes are striving because they don't work together. In Belize, of course, I can share that we have had difficult experiences when organizing groups or even well-established organizations, no? Um, Especially in the area of agriculture, and it has to do with the fact that sometimes we have seen difficulty, that sometimes people don't want to work together, or you have had bad experience that something happened in the organization that maybe you didn't like, or what, many circumstances then, and those elements sometimes make people don't want to work together. At a scale of business, the same thing happens. A business is operating, and you have many small businesses, and sometimes you see that all of them disappear because a big player came into the scenario, started to offer different service, and then those businesses disappeared. At a big scale, you realize that it's one of the risks that sometimes you have as a small organization. And you can share maybe in to the chat, you can share your experience that is in your country. I don't know, but I believe, being a Caribbean country, you might have similarities of the things that happen, no? But and also we have seen, for example, in our area of stores and also the hotels, they are taken over by like groups or foreigners, sometimes operating more organized. They collaborate more, and then they displace the local population. No, this is what has happened a lot in many sectors in Belize. And of course, sometimes people complain, but at the same time, I believe that based on the video that you saw, many times we have to blame ourselves because we don't want to work with our own colleagues, or we don't want to work with our own people. Uh, Whatever the circumstances it is, the reality is that if you don't want to work together, you will be overtaken by others. And so I do express now that businesses have to collaborate one way or another if you want to be successful. And how can you collaborate? We are going to see one element of that, no? Additionally, I strongly believe that successful people, successful enterprises, they have to work very hard. Sometimes we don't see that, but meanwhile, others are sleeping. Sometimes that small business, the owner or the person responsible have to be very early in the morning working while others sleep or others take their rest. You realize that they are completely working. And of course, I encourage you to work hard, but I also encourage you to work smarter. And smart working means that it not necessarily has to be hard work just for the purpose of hard work. No, it has to be led in a way that is more productive, that is more give you more yield for the time that you're investing working. For example, I'll give you one example. Many times in business, sometimes we don't want to take the opportunity to reach the customers directly. We sometimes want to produce the product and then give it to an intermediary, and that intermediary then goes and sell it or resell it. But the one reaching the client or the customer makes the highest profit. So if you think that you are producing one product, but you don't want to go there and take the time to sell it at the customer, you're losing a lot of money. The intermediary sometimes make 2 or 3 times more, and then if that intermediary sell it to another person that you sell it, that person can make double of what the intermediary is doing. No, so you have to be very wise and try to reach as close as you can to the customers, and that's where the money is. No, we have had also experience that many in Belize, sometimes when they want to do business, they make sure that they control the entire value chain, because they know that as you climb the value chain, or as you move from production, then to packaging, then to distribution, and then delivery to the customer, there is money making in each of the step. And the closer you get, the more money you're able to make. No, so this is important, that it is important for you to be able to work in established organization that form some level of grouping, and that grouping also would permit you that your business can be able also to grow. No, um, I know that sometimes we want to do our own things because we see that we have difficulty working with other businesses, because everybody will be defending their own interests. No, but as I am mentioning, there is no other way of reaching a population that is demanding every time more product, and then you yourself are not able to satisfy that product. Here in Belize, the biggest complaint many customers have that buy a lot of the product has to do with consistency. They say our farmers are able to produce good products, but they are not consistent, which means that they can produce the product for 3 months, but then after that they realize that they have to buy from imported because the other months the farmer doesn't have the product, or they cannot supply the amount that a business would want to um, the amount that they would want, and therefore you realize that at the end they end up making business with the big guys instead of the small farmer, no? So, and the reason the small farmers are not organized in a mechanism like a cooperatives, no, that they could have sufficient product to be able to supply a market, and the market many times don't would not care then that it's local or imported. No, what they want is a product that they can claim, well, it's a good quality and I can serve my clients. Okay, so it is important for you also to realize, no, that if you want to enhance your agricultural sector, you have to work together. Um, Also, the 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 items of identifying the right element of having the team will also permit you to be able to increase your capability. No, you cannot stay with the same amount of persons, knowing that they maybe are not productive, knowing that they maybe don't want to improve in their knowledge, or they don't care if you are successful or not. I usually tell many of our trainees, I tell them, if you as a business owner, you're able to convince the person that you hire, let it be family member, let it be any member, if that person doesn't see what you see, it's going to become difficult. And what do I mention with this is that if they don't see that you becoming successful, they also become successful, then basically they don't have the same vision that you have. It's going to become counterproductive. And this is something that you have to be able to transmit to whosoever you employ, no? Because I know many people say, well, I just hired this person, and this person only wants to work 8 to 5, doesn't want to give a little extra, or of course he is a worker. But when you have a person that says, I'm going to go work with this businessman, if he makes money, of course I am sure I'm going to make money on one way or another, no? And therefore I believe if you have become an enterprise that is generating money, of course you have to find a way to encourage your workers for them to become more productive. And of course I can say pay more, no, because we know the reality of many small organizations also struggling. But I am saying, if you find a way this formula, then you can be able to transmit that the worker is going to be willing, that if you progress, he has a stable job and he also will progress, no? So when we mention that you have to work along with others, um, I am also speaking about the word strategic partnership. How do I become or work along with other people? I know in the past we used to make deals by handshaking, but I am sure the years have changed. Whenever a handshake doesn't mean anything, but I know here in Belize many communities that just shake your hand and that's a contract already. I'm not sure how it operates in your country, but when there's no confidence on who you are working with, but you still have to work with, I like to tell people the following. This is liar's advice, no? They usually would say, black man lie, white man lie, black and white no lie. So you have to sign a contract. You have to sign a contract because you don't trust, but you still have to work. And therefore, we believe sometimes small businesses sometimes run from contract because they say, oh, I will not be able to meet. Of course, the person who has to sign a contract with you because doesn't trust that you will do what you are promising to do, no? And business is business. And in business, we are supposed to deliver what we are promising that we are going to be delivering, no? So this type of strategic partner is that, of course, you cannot work with everybody, but you have to choose with whom you work, and who you work has to bring prosperity to your organization. And therefore, the best partnership that you have is those, of course, that are working with your customers. If there's somebody that is taking your product and enhancing it, those are the persons that you are interested. If you produce agricultural products that are very good, you wanted it to make it to the best restaurants, the top resorts, the top area where people will say, oh, apart that it takes a good chef to make the good food, but he has to have good products, no? And I believe those are the type of partnerships that you want to develop. So as I said, you cannot partner with everybody, but you have to be able to partner with those that have similar interests. If I'm an agricultural producer producing carrots, producing cabbage, I am sure there are many farmers doing the same thing. If you're able to partner, both of you have the same mission, believe me, you're going to get better prices for your product. And not prices because the market is influencing it, uh, or somebody stopping the importation, no, like what usually happens here in Belize, but it's because the quality of the products that you are making available is good quality and people are willing to pay the price. Not that they have to buy because it's produced in your country, no? I believe that the best strategy is to produce quality products that people want to buy and they recognize that it's a good quality product. So I'm going to jump this. It was part of the canvas, no? But I want to mention how many of you how many of you like to do work alone, organizing tasks and planning everything? How many of you like to do that in your organization? And I believe many of you, as small business, sometimes have to do the preparation of the orders, the calling of the person that will be buying from you, the record keeping. Okay, it is important that you do all those aspects, and then you are also able to integrate other people in your task. No, why? Individually, there is only so much you can produce. You cannot tell me I do everything and I am the one that I'm going to scale up to produce double or triple. I mean, the reality is that at some time you will be unable to do it. You're required to bring additional personnel, and then you have to manage those persons. Okay? At the end of the day, that's what many of us do, no? And that's the reality of our situation. Um, it it is important that a person knows everything so that when you start to integrate other people, you are able to guide them more easier, no? So it happens. I think many small organization begins like that. Do you prefer to work with other people executing tasks? How many of us like to do that? Um, there is a good leader and there is a bad leader. So it's very important that all of us recognize that we want to be the good leaders, no? As you can see there, the person has a sense of direction. The person is able to encourage others. The person is able to guide others. Okay. We have also had the experience where whenever you might become and scale up, where sometimes you might hire the wrong people that doesn't treat well the workers, and then you start to see people leaving your business. It has to do with leadership. Stability in leadership provides that people want to reach to work and they are happy and they want to produce more. Who do you want to be part of your team? Now, there are organizations that if you were to hire a professional or a person to manage your business, many times those professionals don't have the ability to choose who they work with. You already have people working there. But in the majority of our businesses, many times we have control of we hire, and we want the persons that are the most productive. You want the persons that are they can work with others. You have persons that have skills that they are willing to share. I mean, the team is an important element. If you are going to be producing things of a big magnitude and you are not able to form a team, believe me, there's going to be problems in that business. So, what is the level of engagement and alignment of the team with the business purpose? It is important that we recognize that we are not running a charity business. We are running a small business, and that small business requires for it to be profitable, for that business to be productive, be competitive. You can do many things, but at the same time, if that business is not picking up to be what I said and on that element, maybe you need to revisit how you have established a vision of your business. No, I believe even though many businesses may take time to develop, within 1 or 3 years, they are supposed to have elements of being productive, being more competitive, meeting the demands of their clients, growing up, and reaching the purpose that they were created. What is the main purpose of many business is to make a client happy. A client that is very happy and very satisfied is a client that is coming more for that product, and therefore there is a constant request and there's a cycle of producing demand. Meanwhile, a product that loses that vision of its main purpose with the client is a business that can go down little by little, no, or once of all of a sudden. What are some of the talents that you have in your business? I am sure this is an element that sometimes we speak many times, is that the best talent you can have in a small business is a person that knows how to sell. Of course, sometimes we in our organization don't have that talent, and therefore sometimes we don't reach the client, or a farmer or a producer doesn't see himself as, I am very bad in selling. Well, at the end of the day, you need a person that to be at the forefront, that person is able to sell, because you don't sell anything, your business stays stagnant, and therefore it will not grow. But more important, if you have a person that can sell and you have a good product, you have the ability of making it a very profitable business. So let us see one video of what are some of the things that I need in order for me to be able to grow in the area of building that capacity.
Promote the safety, permanency, and well-being of children. The most effective way to get it done? That may be less clear until you look at it through the lens of capacity building. Capacity building is a strategic process It's how organizations grow and develop. When you build capacity in these key areas, you increase your ability to serve. And it's much more doable than you'd think. The Child Welfare Capacity Building Collaborative is here to support your efforts. Our specialized services empower you to dig in, dive deep, and realize a healthier, stronger system. You'll assess what you're able to do and how you do it. Identify what you'd like to be doing and what you need to get it done. Then make it happen, while building critical knowledge and skills to keep it going on your own. Even small changes can make a substantial impact. Organizations that build capacity are proactive and able to navigate challenges for a more efficient, effective system overall, the results of which are very easy to see. Learn more about how the Child Welfare Capacity Building Collaborative can support you. Visit capacity.childwelfare.gov.
So it's important, and I wanted to mention the following, no, that I believe many persons participating in this training many times have already produced a product, and I believe that in many instances they are very good products. There are certain areas that you need to be knowledgeable. For example, I always tell people, sometimes it's difficult to say I have a new product. No, many times many of the products that we have produced are sometimes produced in other countries, um, and maybe we have started to learn, no, about the product, but there is standards almost for every different types of product, and sometimes we might engage into producing a product and we didn't know there was a standard. No, I encourage many people or many small business that it's important to gather that type of knowledge. Additionally, I believe that you yourself have recognized that you have a certain limitation, you want to learn more, and this is a good aspect of many people participating in the training, because then you become cognizant that you don't know everything. So and there are areas that you can improve, so it's very very critical. Join, take advantage of the trainings. It's going to help you sharing that experience. As a lecturer, we believe that when you teach something, you learn twice. So whenever you share experience, you have the ability of learning again, because then you become better at what you're doing. No, bringing someone with experience, um, we many times do sharing of experience between a producer in one country and another, because we want that producer to see for himself. And I believe you can transmit many times more knowledge by if I tell you. Seeing is many times going to teach you much more things that we can share. No, mentorship, of course, you have a lot of people that have already passed to some of the things that you have done. I believe that if you see people that are successful, many of them won't be um, um, not willing to share that experience. So the insights also, it's important to listen to other people that have passed through whatever you are intending to do, so that you don't repeat the same mistakes. Sometimes they will tell you, don't do this, don't do that. It's because some people already have passed through it. No, learning by the mistakes. Many of us learn by our mistakes sometimes then, and it's important because we don't see it, or at the same time we don't want to listen to advice, or when we pass the mistake we say, oh, now I understand. Okay, standard procedure, there are, as I told you, standards for everything except it's something very new, innovative. maybe there's nobody that have written about it, no, and you might be the first one to write about it. So that becomes a very innovative product that you might have. But I strongly believe that many products do have their own standard of producing of what a customer characterizes as of good quality. And if you're not sure, the best person to tell you is the customer, and become more efficient in what you do. Become efficient will always give you the ability to become more competitive and more productive. Let us see another one of uh, organizational efficiency, uh, the video that we have. Well, the video stopped. I'm not sure what happened, but it's still running. So I think what you were able to establish from the video. Let us hear some of the comments, or you can comment on it. But this is some of the challenges that you're going to be facing up as a small business. No, you're always going to have elements that would want to stop you, and you need to as a leader to see and establish plans in which you're going to respond to whatever challenges come your way. No, you are always going to have also elements that permit you to become inefficient. You also have to make a proper analysis of what are the things that you should not permit within your business, or things that can affect the ability for you to become more productive. No, I am sure all of us want to become the person that is very competitive. As you saw, it needs a good leader. And we strongly believe that businesses that develop a good leadership will always be moving forward, will always have the ability to strive whatever the circumstances are. No, I am sure many businesses that are currently participating this have made it through COVID, and therefore you are still standing up. You are still willing to be able to share what you are intending to do in that business. And then, of course, I hope that everybody makes it to the other phases of the project, no? So, in summary, I want to establish that you need to have a very good leadership. You also need to, in summary, for the course, is that people need to know what is the role that they play within the entire organization. Each person has unique talent, and the leader needs to find out what is that talent and then use it for the purpose of the business. You have to have a very clear vision of where you intend to go. If not, any place that you go is good enough for you. If you know something, getting trained is how you improve. And if you don't know, you still have to get trained to know what and how to do things, no? Capacity building is also linked to all the elements of the business and can improve what you're currently doing. So, with this, I totally leave you, and I have shared some of the experiences we have had here in Belize. And of course, you can comment or you can also raise any of the questions, and we will be more than happy to convey to your country rep. No, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, for another exciting night tonight. Um, so I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Just a reminder to complete the attendance form, which was posted in the link. If you have any questions, feel free to post your questions in the Telegram group, or you can send us an email. The email address is agribahamasincubator@gmail.com. Um, and also, the content is all on the Google Classrooms Drive. And so, next week will be another exciting week. We are almost there. So, next week, we will be looking at purpose and value proposition. And so, we are almost to the end of the training sessions. And so, we are here for you to succeed. And we want to wish you all a good night.